So, anyway, yes, you can't apply. Sorry, I ran out of space on the other one, so here we go. You can't apply one English word, hey, to this situation. And I want to show you how ridiculous, if you try to do that, it is, because Leah had 6 children from Jacob. Now, I'm trying not to be too, graphic in this statement, but I do wish to make the statement that if you're holding a grudge, if you're holding hostility toward, or you oppose a woman, if you have hatred, malice, cruel hatred, hated exceedingly, hatefully, if they're an enemy, are you going to have sex on 6 occasions that produced children? And I'm sure it probably took more times than that, seeing he loved Rachel. So how many nights was he spending in Rachel's tent? Something you got to think about. No, you don't. So the correct way to read this is when Yah saw that Leah was shunned, okay, or unloved, or loved less, which is what I used to believe it meant, loved less, but really it doesn't mean necessarily unloved always, nor does it mean unloved or loved less always, but it means that they are being shunned. In this case, he shunned Leah. Yah saw that and opened up her womb, because I've said this many times before, Jacob had his eyes on Rachel, but Yah had his eyes on Leah the whole time. Okay? We have to remember who's working out this whole story here. It's not about Jacob. It's not about Leah. It's not about them and their. It's not about Rachel. I mean, Jacob and Rachel. It's not about their ultimate happiness and the fact that he wanted to be a monogamist, as they say in Christianity today. This isn't about that. This is about Yah building his nation, beginning to work the fabric of prophecy, bringing Israel to a perfect man. This is what he's doing here. It's Yah's business, and business is great. Okay? So, what? You know, why didn't he lay his hands on Rachel? And why didn't he pray that she'd conceive twins and triplets and quadruplets? If that meant anything, he didn't. He opened up Leah's womb, and she was still barren. Had to give her husband a slave girl so she could bear children for her. Y'all just don't. Now, see, these were some good caliber women back then. I love them kind of women. Women who just, they're out there looking for ways to increase their husband's status in society. You know, that's one thing about Pastor Dow's wives. Those women are there to build him up. Okay? Every one of them. From the first to the last. Okay? They are for him. No doubt. It's a wonderful thing, too. Some of y'all jealous-ass Christians out there, you can't even handle one wife, but just because you suck, you think everybody else should, live the life of suckage right along there with you. And honestly, there are men that aren't going to do that. Okay? So, Yah saw that Leah was being shunned. He didn't like it, obviously. So he worked his strange work. And his thing that he does in secret. And he opened up her womb, and she began to conceive, one right after the other. Okay? Even threw her slave girl in with the mix. Okay? Just so she could have more. See? That is the attitude you need to have. And eventually Jacob said that Leah was the better wife. So much for romance. So much for, I gotta have these feelings. Whoa, 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 feelings. And I believe you should. I believe there should be a spark. I believe there should be a fire there. I believe there should be compassion and love. First of all, y'all kings, y'all can love more than one woman. But the thing of it is, can you be just with them? Yah saw that Leah was being shunned, and he opened up her womb. End of story. Everybody who's anybody in Israel came from that woman. What about Joseph? Yeah, what about Joseph? Yeah, he was a great one. All right? But Joseph didn't have anything to do with the government. Joseph didn't have anything to do with the priesthood. Sorry, but everything that is built theologically around Israel came through Leah, not through Rachel. But what Yah saw that it displeased him, so he opened up her womb. She bore a lot of children. Rachel, we know she died in her second childbirth. Okay. All right. We're going to move on. So, that means 81:30. She was being shunned, not necessarily unloved. And even with Esau, he wasn't necessarily unloved. Okay? But Yah, in his foreknowledge and providence, had already made an 81:30 decision to prefer Jacob over Esau. That is the only way you can bring the continuity of the scripture together and the meaning of the word hatred. Okay? All right. Let's move on. We're going to go to another one. Genesis 25. We all know that. We quote it. I'm sorry. Exodus 25. Did I say Exodus? 25. Quote it every week. Should know it by now. I could quote it, but I'm going to go ahead and read it just in case I forgot. All right. Do not bow down to them. Do not let them make you serve them. Do not let anyone make you serve them. Let me rephrase that. You shall have no other gods before me. Verse 3. Do not make for yourself a graven image or carved image, a pestilum. Okay? Means a brazen, molten, overlaid, molten image. Okay? Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or in the earth beneath or in the water under the earth. Do not bow down to them. Do not let anyone make you serve them. For I, Adonai, Elohim, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, bringing the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Okay? Now, this one is 81:31. Sine, which means to hate an enemy as a noun. It is also 78:52. Setam, not the grudge part, not necessarily holding a hostility, because you ain't going to get nobody to admit that, but to oppose, yes. Yahweh has said that if